best in radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network on the road from beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. I'm here covering the Sprott Resource Conference, and hey, but the show must go on, and it is July 27th, 2016. Andrew Hoffman is on with us now. Andy, good morning.
Good morning, and I have my internet up this week, so it'll sound a lot better.
Yeah, well, I'm using the portable rig, so on my end, it's not going to sound that great, but Melissa, my producer, will definitely work wonders on it. But hey, Andy, the world is going totally nuts here. I mean, we have to say a couple of words about the political insanity, just because it's a reflection of the economic insanity, of course, but these WikiLeaks are just confirming your worst fears. You know, you and I, we talked about this for years. We know that the system is rigged. We know that propaganda is basically placed by the political class and their willing vassals, their willing servants, the mainstream media. We've been talking about this for years, Andy, and then when you see the WikiLeaks emails pop up just confirming it, it's like now, no matter how much you want to hide your head in the sand, say, oh, none of it's true, you're just a conspiracy theorist, you can't say it anymore because the proof is out there. So you have to say, well, I just don't want to know about it. I just want to be dumb and not care. And if that's the case, fine, then don't listen and just be dumb about it. But it's out there now. There's no denying that the media is just, the mainstream media is just a branch of government, effectively. So
Well, in this particular case, it doesn't matter because after the Brexit and after the email scandal, Hillary Clinton might as well have gone home. I mean, I think before this, I would have said that we were in for a Reagan-Mondale type landslide of epic proportions because people are so disgusted not only with the status quo, but with Hillary Clinton. But after this, and we were talking about when the DNC chairman is forced to quit the night of the convention, and then they replace her with somebody who's doing the same thing, and then they put her, this Schultz, as the honorary head of Hillary Clinton's committee. You realize just how stupid these people are. But then on top of that, I'm sorry, I remember I did an article back in May, a month before the Brexit. I called it the upcoming, the most important and precious metal bullish election in history, and a big part of that was I had just watched Brexit the movie, and I said this will be damning for the cause. It will cause people to vote for the Brexit. And sure enough, they did. But that said, as damning as that was, that video for the cause of Maine and the politicos and powers that be that wanted to see it, the Clinton Cash documentary, which just came out yesterday, is 1,000 times more damning for Hillary Clinton. Frankly, the legacy of Bill Clinton and the legacy of the entire Democratic Party is going to be destroyed by this because these people are full-out felony traitor criminals. And it's out there for the world to see. And that's before the email server scandal and all the things that they did beforehand. So again, I mean, I'm going to pass it by because I focus on finance, but and the fact that they already lost this election beforehand. But everyone, watch this Clinton Cash. You will be speechless. It is so heinous. And now the IRS is investigating them as of this morning, and they will, unlike the FBI, be forced to come up with something because the tidal wave against the Clintons is going to be so powerful. It's going to be the same tidal wave that's inevitably for the forces of history going to sweep in Alan Greenspan and Ben Bernanke and all these people who have so far skated away. They are going to be the most reviled, hated, pitchforked people in history when all is said and done.
Exactly. I mean, this is a tidal wave here. It's a tsunami because it's no longer subject to speculation. That's what I'm saying here. It's proven beyond a shadow of a doubt, and there's more WikiLeaks coming because they hacked the Clinton Fraud Factory Foundation servers. So they've got it all, and it's coming. And Julian Assange, who's a master showman, every bit as much as Donald Trump in his own right, has said, there's more to come, folks. Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, it's coming.
And again, this is not just about the U.S. Democratic Party. The Republican Party is just as guilty. I mean, they just came out with that thing in Europe, in UK, where they said Tony Blair knew about all the lies with the Iraq War, and of course, we already know that here. Again, George Bush Jr. is another one who's going to be on the pitchfork of history, because everyone knows that we've been sold out, and everyone around the world have been sold out by the 1%. That's why you have Brexit. That's why you have Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. That's why you have what you're going to. I mean, people, you think the Brexit's the end of it? Within 12 months, Carrie, France, Italy, and probably a handful of other nations will have elected themselves out of the EU as well. The euro will crash. Forget Japan. Japan is hopeless. The yen will probably crash. Yeah. The oil prices. Anyone notice the oil prices crashing again? Yep. Has anyone been listening to what I've been saying all year long about the oil PPT? They just came around early this year, and said, oh, my God, we got to save the oil price. All these companies are going bankrupt. Well, they got it to go back up to 50. And what do you know? It's back down to 43. We're starting out the inventory building cycle, except the inventories are much higher than they were last year. Demand is at best flat. The production is flat, is stable right now. We are going to be back in those depths of hell. I mean, look at the triple top on the CRB commodity index. It should never have gone higher. It's not going higher because of money printing. It went higher because they goosed the stock markets and got people to join in, trades. And still, the commodities have barely come off of their lows. They're going to go right back down again. Stocks, whether they're going to hyperinflate them or they're going to 2008 crash, I don't really know. But in real terms, we're talking about slaughter abound. It's like Gerald Celente the other day was talking about the difference between why people are actually buying 50-year Swiss bonds. These are the same Swiss who've destroyed their own currency and are buying stocks. 50-year Swiss bonds with negative yields and gold at historically suppressed prices. I mean, it's so ridiculous, the disparity. The fact that stocks in the United States are record highs look at the earnings. They're just horrific. Look at durable goods orders today. Look at McDonald's yesterday and Caterpillar, 43 months of sales declines. I mean, everything is completely falling apart. Look at Deutsche Bank's earnings this morning. I mean, the stock's down despite them being excited that it was better than expected. It was horrible. They have 100,000 employees at Deutsche Bank doing nothing except creating derivatives and trying to hide them from their balance sheet. That thing is going down. And the second that the stock market has even the next tiny blip down, you're going to see Deutsche Bank and the Italian banks and Credit Suisse and all these things go into their Lehman spirals. There's so many companies like that right now. And this is on the doorstep of the Fed today. Will it be to the Fed's Jimmy Shaker day today? Will they actually be stupid enough to say anything other than the uber dovish stuff that they've been saying forever, which they have to? The world is falling apart. The oil price is falling apart. The geopolitical situation is falling apart. Not to mention the dollar is surging because of the collapse in currencies around the world. So if they said even anything mildly hawkish, it's going to make the dollar go up more. It's going to kill corporate earnings even more. It's going to cause our exports to plunge even more, joining the exports of the world that are collapsing. I mean, everything. I wrote yesterday, a last cartel, the walls are caving in around you. Because again, what I'm saying is the difference between holding the stock market up for the 1% and what the reality of the rest of the world is, let alone the misallocations of capital and all the overinvestment that it has caused and all the debt that's out there that's about to default, the crash in currencies, and now the surging gold and silver demand behind it. It can only take it so far. I mean, this is the end of the road. I've said this for throughout this year, and I'm saying it more powerfully now than ever. Something is going to go very wrong. I mean, look at silver. It's back up to $20 an ounce again. The Fed hasn't even spoken yet. This never happens. They have not been able to cover their shorts. People, I've been saying for weeks, I wrote for months now articles about how the cartel's imminent demise is here because they can't cover their shorts. They tried the FOMC minutes attack in May. Yeah, let's pretend that we're going to say we're raising rates and hit gold. Didn't work. They couldn't cover their short. Brexit couldn't cover the short. Last few weeks, couldn't cover shorts, couldn't cover shorts, couldn't cover shorts. Last week, again, record high shorts exploding. I'm taking the x-axis down on my charts to levels they've never been before because the commercial shorts are getting so large and the price won't go down. And then they smash it, it comes back. They smash it. It's up 35 cents today, $20 an ounce. And now the Fed's speaking. What's the Fed going to do? At $20.50 per ounce, as our friend Steve St. Angelo showed us, which I didn't realize because I don't buy these services. It's the 50-month, not day, 50-month moving average of silver. That's why they've been protecting 2050 with their life. And the way things are going with their record shorts, it's gonna blow through that like it did temporarily on July 3rd. And when it does, you're gonna see massive amounts of buy stops. And of course, people will start looking up at the $50 per ounce, quadruple top. That we're gonna get there, and we'll run out of supply. I mean, something is gonna give, whether it's in the precious metal world, the geopolitical world, the economic world, the currency world, the oil world, or all of the above, or something we don't even know about yet. And people just wake up. I mean, are you kidding me? Janet Yellen is going to speak today, and she is going to put her foot in her mouth so far that she'll never be able to take it out. And of course, she doesn't have much longer for that anyway, because once Trump wins, she's going to be out in a heartbeat. And let's see what monster replaces her with.
Yeah, that's a good question about Trump. He's been very evasive on the question of Federal Reserve, sound money, and all that. But, it's something he's got to be thinking about. He's taken on everybody. Does he really want to take on the Federal Reserve? He hates the banks. You know that he hates the banks. He's made that abundantly clear on numerous occasions. What's he going to do with them? Good
nothing.
Question.
He's going to do nothing. I mean, it's in his platform that he wants to bring back Glass-Steagall, and he's talked about maybe even auditing the Fed. But that's just playing into the same fears. He wants to get elected. He's saying every anti-establishment thing he can. But again, as I was saying on a podcast yesterday, for one, no one wants it to crash on their own watch. He'll be blamed for it. I mean, so of course he's going to try to kick the can. He'll learn very quickly about how markets are manipulated and how the only way to keep things going is to try. It doesn't mean succeed, but to try to keep manipulating them. And he'll back off on all those things because he has to. It's like the other day, remember there was an article that we found out the HSBC wasn't prosecuted because the Treasury said this will cause a systemic problem, meaning they're too big to fail, but they're too big to even mildly accuse because everyone will realize that the fraud and start selling everything. So again, no, he's not going to do anything, but he's certainly going to scare the hell out of Wall Street. And, his talking about the trade deals and everything, he's definitely not pro-business. As much as he's a big businessman, the things that, you talk about something that will kill stock markets and why it's such a joke that the Dow, among other things, could rise, given that he's clearly going to win, is he's a very, very anti-Wall Street candidate. The things that he's saying and doing, whether he does them or not, doesn't matter. The fact is, Hillary Clinton is the most pro-Wall Street person in history, and he's going to be the most anti-Wall Street. So again, you talk about the pressures on the PPT to try to continue supporting stocks, bonds, real estate, you name it, in a market where the fundamentals are just flying at them. Economic Mother Nature is now in full swarm mode. It's like the orcs in like Lord of the Rings. I mean, they are just swarming all over the paper manipulations, and it won't be long. I mean, before we here see what the rest of the world is seeing, soaring cost of living, massive reported unemployment, and all the things that go along with it. And of course, the canary in the coal mine is precious metal prices. People just don't realize it takes so little for people to get scared. And when precious metal prices are rising because they lose control, forget it. It's all over. It's not going on forever. It's not going on for 12 more months. It's what's happening in the rest of the world now, not what's going to happen. What's happening in the rest of the world now will be happening in the United States at a very, very soon time.
Yeah, get ready. You can still do something about it, but that window of opportunity is closing upon you quickly, so get ready, because, hey, we've been talking about this for years, Andy. It's finally coming to pass. Surprise to us is it took as long as it did. Not that it's happening, that's for sure. But, hey, you can't plan these things out, They happen in their own time.
That's right. I mean, you can never predict when, although for much of the world, and I mean, again, I mean, the thing I've said more all year, I feel like I say this every 2 minutes. There's 300 million people in America and 7.2 billion in the rest of the world. And those 7.2 billion have seen their currencies collapse. We've just seen our cost of living surge, but we haven't yet seen our currency collapse. And whether it collapses against other currencies doesn't matter. We're going to really see our purchasing power against the things we need, like, healthcare and food and insurance and rent start to soar in the coming months and years. Forget years, weeks and months, as the Fed destroys us at a more rapid pace than it's ever done before. Central banks are buying everything in sight right now. 180 billion of overt QE going on right now, probably 2 or 3 times that in covert, and eventually, probably a lot sooner than you think, it'll be 5-10 times that amount as we hyperinflate these horrible currencies. I was on this podcast yesterday, and it was one of these people, I hate people like this, who think that they're going to get a better audience by saying, well, how can we make a positive of this, and how can we fix this? You can't fix it. When a horse has a broken leg, you shoot it. It's a sad thing of life. And when a fiat monetary system is in its final stages, it collapses. It doesn't get fixed. It doesn't get fixed by Donald Trump. It doesn't get fixed by policy, by the Rothschilds. It dies a horrible death. And that is what is happening to the biggest fiat Ponzi scheme in the history of the planet as we speak. It's already happened in most of the countries in the world. Look at Nigeria, perfect example of what's going on today. Hyperinflation, Venezuelan style, except they have almost as many people there as we have here in the United States. Think about how their lives are being affected and what's going on. That's what's going to happen throughout the entire world, including the great Western world, like Europe and Japan and even China, as everything collapses. And we'll worry about what the next monetary system will be, which, by the way, will be digital. It won't be fiat or even a gold standard when that happens. Right now, you protect yourself from what's coming by owning precious metals and not worrying about what's going to happen in the future or how we can make things better. I don't care about making things better. I'm a financial expert. I'm a monetary expert. There's nothing to make better. The system needs to die and die now.
Yeah, well, regardless whether it needs to or not, it looks like that's the inescapable result of where things are heading now. Anyways, we got to run, but go check out Andy's work. Subscribe to his daily missive at milesfranklin.com and his frequent audio blogs. Check our work out at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Sign up for our newsletter. We will be resuming weekly publication imminently. And Andy, we will catch up with you next week.
Looking forward to it. Have a great show.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.